Hello, everybody. Welcome along to the Rangers Rabble podcast. I've got a brand new team for the match reaction, apart from myself, obviously. Hello, I'm Martin. Tonight I am joined by Scotty, the second most handsome man on the podcast. Scotty, how are you?
Are you talking to me? Yeah, I thought you Cammy. All good. All good. How is everyone?
Yeah.
I'm full of beans.
Yeah, not bad. I'm gutted that I can't go to Copenhagen, but apart from that, I'm absolutely fine. Cammy, not spoke to you for ages, my friend. How are you?
Very good. I'm looking forward to this. Should be a nice, bright and positive one.
Yes, well, a 6-1 victory normally does that for you, doesn't it? Brian, how are you?
Very good, sir. Very good, sir. Thank you. Yourself?
Hi, very, very good. We've got CGM straight in. Good evening. Good evening, maybe making its way to Newcastle. So I hear, so you never know. So welcome along. We are live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. If you're watching on YouTube, I've started saying this new thing where I've been giving targets for likes because likes are so important to the podcast. And I've been giving 200 as a target. So see if you're watching, I'm going to up it to 250. 250 likes. Oh, we may get 240 odds for the last one, so I might be pushing that a bit. So if you are watching, give it a wee like. And of course, do subscribe because our next target is 4K. And before Curry Muncher comes in with a Martin, why have you not got your hair cut yet? I just simply haven't had the time, and my hair will be getting cut very, very soon. And also, just while I'm on the advertising mode, we've got a brand new forum on the website, and the only way is that a bird's nest or a wig. Thomas is a bird's nest. We've got a brand new forum on the website, and the only way it's going to work is if you guys get onto it and start commenting and making it a nice big forum for us all to use. So rangersrabble.co.uk, get on there, watch our podcast blogs and our forums. I'll do Patreon later on. I won't bore you with all the advertising straight away. CGM, thank you very much. Look, your hair is fine. Oh, no, that's true. Your hair is fine. At least you have some. Yeah, that's very true. Isn't that true, Cam?
Yes.
Right,
Cam's
so before
got
we
hair.
start tonight, gents, Rangers obviously released a statement about the memorial for the great Walter Smith. It will be taking place on Friday the 19th of November at Glasgow Cathedral. Obviously, it will be an invite-only event, but Cammy, a nice touch by Rangers. It will be available on Rangers TV for free.
Aye, no, it's nice that the club are doing that. It's tomorrow's obviously going to be a sad day for Walter's family, and I think we'll all be thinking about his family tomorrow. Thinking about Walter, and the 19th is an opportunity for us to remember a great Rangers manager and most of all a gentleman.
Yeah. And Brian, you know, obviously it's the funeral tomorrow, but that's obviously family only and friends. And obviously Rangers have asked if the family could obviously be left alone at this time. And I'm 100% sure every single Rangers fan will follow that.
Yeah, I'm quite sure they will. Even in the lead up to his passing, there was no murmurings or nobody sort of knew anything. And I think that's great for the club. And, you know, I think the fans will be respectful as they always have been. Definitely.
Yeah, 100%. So do you know what I thought we would do? And I know that I mentioned it 2 seconds before we came live, Scotty. I thought I would just go around each of these because why not? It's probably one of the greatest managers in our history. And I think I'm right in saying he would have been the manager when probably all of us first started watching Rangers.
That could be a good shout. I think.
Cammy?
I was Jock Wallace.
I was Jock Wallace as well. So,
I keep forgetting how old some of the people on the podcast are. So Scotty, your favourite, maybe favourite's too difficult because there's so many, but a highlight, I suppose, of Walter's time at Ibrox for you.
There is so many. I could actually reel off a few. Do you know what? See, she mentioned that. I was hoping someone else would go first and they can answer, and then kind of like narrow it down.
I'll go if you want.
Because like obviously we've got some real standout memories, but just from almost like a personal point of view, because I remember obviously like I grew up in England, and at the time I was living in Birmingham, and I think I was living with, no, I was the Killy when we won the league at Killy, and we won the league in 7 minutes, and I think I was working, and I timed it so I could just like make it home for kickoff. I was either playing, I don't know. I think I was working. I'd time it, get home, watch it with my dad. My dad's there, and I'm like driving back. Shit, 2 minutes. I've missed the start of the game. I fucking hate missing the start of the game. I hate missing kickoff. I hate missing the end. So I'm like absolutely racing around like bloody, I don't know, Lewis Hamilton saying racing around, and then I've like got the 5 live on. It's a goal. My phone starts going. It's my dad. My dad texting. It's another goal. Another goal. By the time I got in the house, I missed the game by 5 minutes, and we were already 3-0 up. I was like, "Fucking hell, this is great." I mean, it's like having a party. But yeah, obviously that was a really special day as far as Walter was concerned, and it was a special day for everyone. And it's just one of those, just another one in a long list of special moments that ultimately result in gratitude for Walter Smith. So always makes me laugh when I just think about that one, because I think I've seen it more times than any other moment. It just pops up, doesn't it, on your Twitter timeline? You just watch the first 7 minutes. So I have managed to watch it back quite a few times, and certainly what a day it was.
I know, and actually we're getting a lot of good comments in. Ian Moore, Smith 92-93 was my first season. Foldsy, soonest when my dad started taking me, but my lasting memories are from the Walter years of the 90s. So everybody in the comments, if you want to actually get in, when you started following Rangers and who the manager was, that way I get to kind of get a grasp on just how old you are. Jim Sloan, I've got t-shirts older than you, Martin, but that's quite worrying, Jim. Maybe you should look at investing in some new t-shirts. Cammy, you were saying to me before we started that you actually had the pleasure of a few hours in Walter's company.
Yes, we'll not spend all. I was fortunate enough August 2020 to spend a few hours with him. He was signing some memorabilia for us, and it was just everything. We were only meant to have him for an hour, and 2.5 hours later we had spoke about our families, and he was just genuinely everything that you could have imagined that he would be. Just a complete gentleman, and it was in my thoughts a lot last Tuesday. Just going back to those couple of hours, and you know, I mean, Walter Smith is the greatest modern day Rangers manager. There's no any doubt about that, and it's a memory I'll treasure forever. On the park, he gave us so many. I think Scotty, those 7 minutes at Kilmarnock, his final match, unbelievable. I was at that game with my wife. Gave her the best 7 minutes she's ever had. And I hope she's not watching this downstairs.
she's probably watching it, nodding her head like that. Yeah.
Do you know the game for me? See the cup final against St Mirren when McCoist was the manager, and Walter came down and he's like, out the road, I'm taking over here. Down to 9 men. Sent Danny Wilson sent off, Kevin Thompson sent off. He just organised the team. Kenny Miller scores the header. Walter's gone mental on the track. You know, that for me epitomised Walter Smith as a Rangers manager. He knew how to win. And one thing he said to me that day was, Rangers just need to find a way to win. And it's something that sticks with me even now when we're talking about the current team. You just have to find a way, because winning at Rangers is all that matters. And that St Mirren Cup final was just one of probably not one that sticks in everybody's mind because 9 in a row and all that sort of stuff, but it's one that epitomised Walter Smith and his success as a Rangers manager. Down to 9 men, we had no right to win the cup that day, but we did, and it was thanks to Walter.
Yeah, I've got really, really vivid memories of that cup final, and when Kenny Miller, and look, we could do a podcast on Kenny Miller alone, with a burning question, but when Kenny Miller scores that header, like so many other important goals that Kenny Miller scored for Rangers, you just think, how we 1-0 up against 11 men when we've only got 9. But Brian, your thoughts, your memories?
Well, there's a couple that stick out straight away, and obviously this top is obviously his first when he was actually given the manager's job, and he
Jamie
had 4.
Duff's favourite.
Yeah, Jamie Duff's favourite. Yeah, get it up, you Jamie. But no, he took over from Souness, and he had 4 games to win the league against St Mirren, Dundee United, Motherwell, and Aberdeen. And
3-0 defeat off Motherwell, wasn't it?
We got beat by Motherwell in the penultimate game of the season, and we were needing to win against Aberdeen. And we all know what happened after that. Hateley got 2, and I'm scared to think what would have happened if Aberdeen had won that league and we hadn't. Goodness knows what could have happened. Suit Smith might have capitulated, and goodness knows, but thankfully he won that league and he went on to do the 9 in a row. And I also think the season where we got to Manchester, the European run, I mean, some of those games, I mean, some of the away games even, we got somehow, I mean, that Werder Bremen game, how we only lost 1-0 there was just frightening. We had a great performance over at Sporting Lisbon. We got a great win there. But I mean, we scored in the last minute in that game. We played them twice, but I mean, just that whole European run, it was just so unfortunate that the final didn't go our way. But I mean, that whole season was just memorable for good things, and obviously not for great things, because the season didn't end in the league the way we wanted either. But no, that was a great season.
Do you know what's funny? Actually, I was watching a documentary. It was an old documentary. I think it was STV, and they were talking about, it was a documentary about Walter. And I didn't actually realise, because obviously I was young, but I didn't realise at the time, Scotty, that when Souness left with 4 games to go, number one, Walter was nowhere near the favourite. And the fans, although they appreciated what Walter had done as an assistant, didn't want him. They wanted another big, massive name from Europe.
Dalglish, Beckenbauer. Dalglish and Beckenbauer were in the running.
I know Beckenbauer was. I didn't realise Dalglish was.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
That which I was surprised at.
Well, that would surprise me too. But at the age I was like 6 months old or something.
But it was when Smith was when Smith.
I'm asking like one of them.
when Smith was appointed, it wasn't exactly all singing and dancing and sort of a big fanfare. It was a bit sort of underwhelming, because everybody thought, well, we've been used to Souness. Smith's not going to attract the players that we want, and well, if you can sign Laudrup, Gascoigne, and Basil Bolly, then it's good enough for me.
Well, the big thing, Cammy, was the big thing was it was actually David Murray who actually went and asked the players, who do you want? And it was the players that said, we want Walter.
They basically said Walter's been doing the work on the training ground, and that for me is the period where David Murray was at his best. He was very on top of Souness when Souness wanted to stay till the end of the season, and David Murray says, "No, you're going now. You're not getting to do what you want." And he was very in control. He actually sought the counsel of Richard Gough and the experienced players. So it was. I can't really remember what my own personal reaction was at the time. I just wanted Rangers. I was still relatively young and wanted Rangers to win. I mean, that Aberdeen last game, as Brian says, that could have 9 in a row would never have happened. Aberdeen changed their tactics that day and what have you. But Walter wasn't the obvious choice, but he was. Probably one of David Murray's best decisions was appointing Walter Smith as a Rangers manager.
Yeah, and I think we all know that David Murray didn't make many great decisions, but I better not say too much more on that in case his lawyers are watching. So Friday the 19th of November, Glasgow Cathedral, invites only, but the service will be live on Rangers TV. So we shall move on from that. A question I want to ask that I know for a fact, right? Cammie's going to jump down my throat. Tell me to stop being stupid, Martin. Move on. What are you even bothering asking the question for? So I'm not going to take it to Cammie. I'm going to take it to Brian because Brian tends to agree with me. And I'd like everybody in the comments as well to get in on this because it's a genuine question.
Brian agrees with everyone. I don't know why you got me and Cammy on together because we'll just sit here and disagree with you all day.
Listen, disagree all you want. Disagree all you want. How big a result or how big a boost to the Rangers players, Brian, was Celtic dropping points?
I think it was very big, purely because we were playing obviously the next day. Had Celtic got the result like we all thought they would, we were going into the Motherwell game not at the top and chasing. And the very fact that they didn't get a win and they slipped up and we were still top, I think played a big part in Sunday. Obviously, we didn't start the game very well, but it all went smoothly after that. But I think psychologically that was a big boost for us, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Massive.
Scotty, the reason I ask, right, pre-2012, it used to be the case of you always kept an eye on the other team's results. They were big. You would even, if you had the chance, you would watch the other team. That obviously seems to have gone now. There's this kind of stigma, I think, attached from either side of watching the other team. There seems to be this stigma attached to it. And obviously because of what they went through last season, I think a lot of Rangers fans, probably including ourselves, just assumed that this season was going to be not easy, but the title was basically in the bag. So Celtic dropping any sort of points when they've been on a decent run, let's try and be honest, let's tell it as it is. Does them dropping points, does that then send a message to the Rangers players that look, they might not be mentally up for the fight?
That's a reasonable question for you, actually. Do you know, you hark back to 2012, and I can, remember sort of. I mean, a lot's happened between then and now, but I'm talking in terms of my memory, so bear with me on this one. I kind of recall always having the feeling, don't bet on the Old Firm when they're away from home, because the odds are always ridiculously low, but there's always a banana skin in there. And you always kind of assume that the home games are rubber. But there's always a couple of results in there where either team drops points. And no matter what the standing in the table was come November, December, probably January, a little bit of February, there really wasn't that much panic. If there was a couple of points in it, you were like, oh, well, there's a couple of Old Firm games to go. It is what it is. There seems to be an obsession about winning the league at a canter by 25 points, 20 points. That's utter nonsense. Apart from the past 10 years where we've had utter nonsense in Scottish football, it rarely happened. So I don't know why there's now the obsession of the need to do that. If you win the league by 5 or 6 points at the end of the season, that's a canter. That's quite a significant margin, particularly in a league where you're expected to win every game. So, it's a really hard one to try and articulate because there is a huge mentality shift, and it was almost like what happened to us 4 or 5 years ago, 4 years ago, in the early stages of Gerrard is now happening to them, where it's like a huge hurdle that they have to overcome to get to the top of the table. And if you remember when we actually did that, everything just seemed to fall away, and we don't actually know why. So I think potentially, yes, there is a huge mentality thing. And I would actually like the media to start questioning the bottle of some of these Celtic players, because that's what the media does. It puts pressure on it, right? Or do they only put pressure on us? That said, it's the 2nd of November today. No league titles are won yet. They're not won for a good few months. While we're top 4 points, see if we can enjoy the ride. Just going back to what I said originally, how never bet on the old firm away from home. Our away form is like absolutely magnificent at the moment. I'm not sure what's going on with the home form. So it's one of those things that you can't really predict. And there's going to be a test of mental strength for whatever team, whatever game this season, in whatever circumstance, particularly as we head towards December. But again, a League One isn't won in December or January.
No, it isn't. It isn't. And look, Cammy, I know that asking a question like this, there's a lot of people who will say, look, shut up, it's about what we do. And I know for a fact that's what you would say to me. It's all about what Rangers do. But then, of course, my point is, when Rangers have a start to the season like we've had, where we've dropped quite a few points at home that normally we wouldn't drop, when Celtic do drop points, surely that's then going to be a confidence boost to Rangers players. After they went on a decent run, right? There's no point in sitting going, somebody's put they were running on adrenaline, blah, blah, blah. That doesn't matter. They were picking up points and they looked okay. So the minute that they drop points when they're really not expected to, surely that then is a confidence boost for not just Rangers and its players, but for the supporters as well.
I think it's just an added motivation. Motherwell on Sunday, we had to go and win. At 3 o'clock on Saturday afternoon before Celtic started, we had to go to Motherwell and win. So by 5 o'clock, the mood of the Rangers support was, we need to get the 3 points tomorrow. I'm sure within the hotel, the players, the manager, I'm sure a similar sort of winning mentality that they had to go and win the game. And Celtic dropping points and us following it up. It's a bit like I think this weekend they play at 12 o'clock, then we play at 3 o'clock. So it could be the same sort of. You never know what can happen in an away game off the back of a European. They could drop another couple of points, and then we have to then go out on the 3 o'clock kickoff and do it. So that's always played a big part across league titles across the years, is who plays early, who plays Saturday, who plays Sunday, and it's how your mentality is able to handle that, So it gave the Rangers players and the support a huge boost, and I'm pleased that the result on Sunday was so positive, and there's a huge sense of positivity going round at the moment.
Yeah, massive sense, absolutely massive. Look, we'll all touch on the game, Brian, but Gallant Pioneers made the point. It's only became a title race because we've allowed it to be. Now, is that fair? Because Scott Kerr, and Scott Kennedy's shaking his head. Scott Kerr has said in the group chat that, look, he doesn't feel that the recruitment that we made was the greatest. That maybe last season was a bit of a freak season in regards to just, how many points we picked up. We didn't lose, blah, blah, blah. So is Gallant Pioneer right? Is it only became a title race because we've allowed it to be?
He's got a point to a certain extent in the respect that we lost a last-minute goal to Hearts. We played pretty woeful in the second half against Motherwell, and the Aberdeen game, the first half was just a disgrace. And normally those games, when you look at the fixture list, you're looking at 3 points for all those games, 9 points, no problem. So yes, in that respect, I do agree with him that if we hadn't played as badly as we did in those games and picked up the points that we should have, we'd be 10 points ahead. Mm-hmm. So if you're 10 points ahead in the start of November, that's you've got to lose 3 games and they're still not caught you up. And for us to lose 3 games, bearing in mind we've only lost 1 game in 50. So when you start to think we've got to lose 3 for them to even get near us, it's I do kind of agree with Gallant Pioneer with that in some respects.
Scotty, you were shaking your head. Were you shaking your head there?
Because we're 11 games into the season. How far ahead do you want to be? We're 4 points in.
That's why I'm asking the question.
I want to be as far ahead as possible.
Okay, fine. But if we play another 11 games and we're 8 points ahead, then fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there seems to be right. That I'm not saying at all that we shouldn't be going to look at every game as a game we should win. Every single game that we play this season, we should win. And if we go by the logic that we should be further ahead, then we should win 38 games in the season. That isn't how football works. You have to be realistic. You have to be patient. You have to understand that even extenuating circumstances, it's football. That's why we love it. If football was as predictable as we all thought it was, well, we wouldn't watch it. And we watch it for upsets. And when it happens to us, it's not nice. However, this league has played over 38 games. Celtic have got a huge monumental challenge to overthrow not only a 4-point lead after 11 games, but to overthrow a team that's lost once in 50. Mm-hmm. Come on, when you look at that, it's like, well, let's actually be patient and let's be realistic and let's not try and jump down the throats at people for every possible opportunity, because it seems that even when the times are bad, that's what we look to do, and there is always this constant negative aura, whereas we're in the position of strength and we should be really focusing on the positives, going, right, okay, well, we beat Ross County Sunday. Celtic are going to go into that game knowing that we will beat Ross County at Ibrox on Sunday. The pressure is on them to win their game away at Dundee, having watched us play Dundee and win, but struggle, and they know we're better than them. So see the mentality. It's a real challenge, and I don't think. I mean, yeah, I know. I get the point that we conceded a last-minute goal, but how many last-minute winners have we won? Yeah, that we have no divine right.
Yeah, but if you'd asked me at the start of the season, we'd be 4 points ahead at this stage, I would have took it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but then you'd be like, right, okay, well, that's if we'd won all 11 games and we were 4 points ahead, only 4 points ahead or whatever. I don't think that's mathematically possible, but you get the idea.
Yeah.
It's still going to be like, oh, well, we should be further ahead. Well, is what it is.
Yeah.
Is what it is. Just take it. I completely get that. I completely get the idea, because in my head, I go into every game thinking we should win.
Yeah.
If we don't win that game, I come away from that game thinking we should have won. Right? So at the end of the season, in my head, it's played 38, won 38, and there's no excuses. But football doesn't work that way, and we know that.
Yeah, let's go positive, because if we don't go positive, then
that is positive. That's as positive as I get.
Yes, we're going to go proper positive, because if we don't, Cammy will never come on again. Cammy, I say we're going to go positive, and then you always start with a negative. I don't know what it is about you. Motherwell on Sunday, quite possibly our best performance of the season. Probably our best performance of the season. Were you nervous at 1-0?
No, because we'd started the game really, really well. And the first attack, a complete comedy errors leading up to it. Set piece, lose a goal. But we reacted well. We kept the ball down. We were popping it about. We felt as if we were throwing in maybe one or too many crosses. But we got getting the goal. But I was standing with Alan Carmichael, and I said we just need to get a goal back before half time. And we got the goal back before half time. A fantastic finish from our captain, who had obviously been heavily involved in the build up. But that's Tav for you. You know, he never hides. Always steps up when you need him, and then he puts in a worldie across and fashion. Sakala jumps 7 feet in the air and heads it into the back of the net. Rangers end's gone mental. Just before half time, Motherwell heads are down. Everybody was buoyant, and it was just about get out into the second half, get that third goal, and get the game won, because 2-1, 1-0 is the fact that we are prone to giving goals away through our own errors. It was important that we got a couple of goals ahead, and then once we got 3-1, then you're thinking be clinical, be relentless, keep keep shooting, being direct. And I think that was the huge positive for me on Sunday was we were we kept at it. They went down to 10 men, which it was amusing that it was the Stephen O'Donnell that got sent off. I mean, how is he even a professional footballer? But Rangers kept at it. Glenn Kamara realised that if you shoot, sometimes the ball might hit the back of the net. Fashion Sakala cuts in, have a dig, takes a deflection. I think we had something like 30 shots on goal on Sunday, and it felt like it. It was, we were being direct, we were moving the ball about fast, and I thoroughly enjoyed it on Sunday. The Rangers end was in fine voice. There's one song particularly I can't get out my head, and we're now on Tuesday night, and it's just when you think you've got the Fashion Sakala song out your head, Rangers put something on Twitter which puts it into your head before you go to bed. You wake up in the morning and your Fashion Sakala alarm clock goes off, and it's like, aye,
how does it go, Cammy?
Cammy, give us a wee rendition.
Not a chance. It comes for Zambia. I know that. It comes for Zambia.
How crazy is it? And I don't know, maybe this is an African thing, Brian. Sorry, Cammy. I'm saying I don't know if this is an African thing or not, Brian. But Fashion Sakala scores a hat trick for Rangers, and you've got the president of his country congratulating him. To me, that's just mental.
Well, that's how they are treated over there. They're just, I mean, look at latterly George Weah. He's now the president of Liberia. These guys are literally gods where they're from. I mean, that's their outlet, and that's their heroes at the end of the day. I mean, apart from, there's not many other sport. Athletics is probably the only other sport these countries that do well in. So football's one of the sort of newest sports that they're starting to, in the last 10, 15, maybe 20 years since Drogba came on the scene, that are starting to dominate and, starting to do really well in. But I mean, going on to the Sakala, I mean, is this guy, I think we've been sleeping on this guy since Kent's injury. I mean, the way he's started on Sunday, he was just a complete menace. I think poor O'Donnell, his head must be still spinning, because every time we see him coming to him, he was just thinking, oh my God, here we go again. But I just hope that's his confidence sky high, and he just keeps playing the way he is, because the wee lad's just brilliant. He's just got a smile on his face. He's just delighted to be playing, and more to come, hopefully.
Right, Scotty, give us a rendition.
I'm trying to think of it in my head. Come back to me at the end. If I can get it right, then I'll sing it. Come back to it.
And another wee thing about Sunday, when Tab scored his first goal, John McCluskey pointed out last night on our Soonest Revolution pod, he didn't even celebrate. He just told everybody, get the ball, let's get back to the centre circle. No messing. He still believed he could get another goal.
Can we just talk about our captain? How absolutely...
We're going to come to that, Cammy. Cammy, we're going to come to the captain. We're going to come to
That's good. That's good. Thank you.
Trust me. I want to talk about the captain probably more than you do. We're going to come there. But Brian, you just mentioned the Soonest Revolution. Where would folk possibly hear that?
They'll find it in the description below on Patreon.
On Patreon. And what is Patreon, Brian?
Patreon is where you'll find the Rangers Rabble for exclusive content and series.
Have you two rehearsed this? Because
no,
Brian, have you got notes? Did you just get some notes?
No.
Sorry, start again. Tell us more about Patreon.
Yes, please do, Brian.
You'll find it in the description below, and you'll be access to exclusive content, the Soonest Revolution, the best of the rest, more and more.
What else? Best of the rest?
Your favourite football shirts, the EPL show.
Yes,
the EPL show is undoubtedly the best show on Patreon. So it's
out
well
with
worth
Rangers shows.
Out with Rangers, it's out with Rangers, and it's well worth £2 a month just for the EPL show.
£2 a month.
That's
£2 a month.
That's it. You advertise it, Scotty.
That is even cheaper than half a pint of lager down here.
There you go. So there you go. The Rangers Rabble Patreon is worth half a pint of lager. That's exactly how much we are worth.
Not actually. Half a pint of lager down here is £3.
There you go. So for less than half a pint of lager in London, you can get the Rangers Rabble Patreon. Link is available in the description. Like Brian says, there's loads and loads of extra content, and you're helping support the podcast. As I had a conversation on Twitter the other day, and somebody was asking me if we do post-match reaction directly after the game. And we used to do that until everybody started going back to Ibrox. To which they then pointed out that there's a kind of market in the Rangers fan media for doing stuff like that. To which my answer was, I want to do it outside Ibrox, but unfortunately, due to costs, it's just not possible at the moment. So if you support us on Patreon, you might get even better stuff like that as well. Right, Scott, Cammy, Tavernier. In fact, do you know what? You've totally messed me up. Sakala. We're staying on Sakala. Scotty, fans' favourite now?
Well, he's got a decent song, hasn't he? His popularity is only going to go. So, he probably will be. I mean, he's such a likable guy. You listen to him talk. He thanks. The first thing he did was thank God. Now, I'm not really. Well, I'm not a religious guy at all. But there's just something so innocent and humbling
Endearing
about him. Yeah, he's completely endearing, and you just want him to succeed. And hopefully that's him coming on to a game, because John, who he's probably not listening, he's probably manicuring his beard or something right now. But he's been saying ever since he signed, it's like, this guy just needs time. He needs to play a few games and he needs time. And I'll be honest, I'm not completely sold. I don't think he's the next coming just yet. I think there's parts of his games that he can improve. And he's still got that kind of like bull in the china shop like vibe, but quite like that because it's energizing, bringing energy to the front line, something that we've been desperately lacking. Let's not get carried away. It's against Motherwell. So yeah, hopefully, you know what? I hope he gets a start against Brondby. I'd be really surprised if he doesn't, and actually give him a chance to have a go at that next level up in opposition, particularly of what we saw of Brondby in the first leg, or the first game, sorry. I do think there's definite exploitation there for Sakala. So, yeah, really exciting, and I hope it's the start of something really special. Let's see if we can get another hat-trick. Hat-trick every game. There's your target.
that would cement his place, wouldn't it? And Camille, Alan makes the point here. Look, Sakala's superb after one game, but let's see how he gets on from now on. Now, I'm looking at Cammy and I'm thinking he's definitely frozen, isn't he? 100% Cammy's frozen. Because that is some face. Look at that.
I know. Look at he's reminiscing.
He's dreaming. He's dreaming.
Finishing the third. Yeah.
I mean, he looks so peaceful, doesn't he? But that's the thing now. Look, Brian, Sakala's been given a chance. He's performed. Let's hope, and I don't think it will be, but let's hope it's not a one-hit wonder. He's got his foot in the door now. He's got to take that.
Absolutely. I mean, he's got the chance now, as I said, that Kent's still out injured. He's grabbed his, well, I don't think it's his first start. He started a couple, but he's got his hat trick. He's got his foot in the door, as you say. He's then just got to think, well, I've just got to keep going and carry on what he's doing.
Yeah, totally agree. Right, Cammy, let's talk about Tav. In fact, on you go.
Listen, his numbers, 70 odd goals for the club, 4,000 assists. He's the man. Listen, his form this season has not been as high as it was last season, but nobody's form has been as good as it was last season. Mm-hmm. But he is the man that always steps up. He is the man that always puts the killer pass in, always drives us forward. I mean, the game against Aberdeen, I didn't think he had a particularly good game against Aberdeen, but he puts the... very good. And then he takes the penalty. He takes the penalty, and I must confess, at the game, I was like... I was worried because but he showed great character, stuck it away. He doesn't hide, and see the fact that he doesn't hide, he gets the rewards for not hiding and constantly driving us forward. Mm-hmm. Nathan Patterson is an unbelievable talent, and I feel heart sorry for him that he's got such a colossus as Tav in front of him. We have the best two right backs in Scottish football. There's no any doubt about that. But Tav when the next Hall of Fame happens at Rangers, never mind the fact that he's the captain of the side that won the 55th league title. He's been through some really dark days, seeing us being pumped rotten by Celtic and what have you, and his character to still be here and still go. And he scored goals his first season under Warburton, scored some crackers, and he's just kept on going and going and going, and he's just a fantastic captain. A different style of captain. I know he doesn't punch people and he doesn't throw people around the park. That I think there's this. I think there's still people want Richard Gough and Terry Butcher, and until Tav actually cuts his forehead and he's got a bandage around his head, sort of situation, But he drives the team forward, and that's what a leader does. He doesn't hide. Mm-hmm. It's inspirational leadership, and that's what James Tavernier does. And he's just fantastic. If we could get him and Nathan Patterson in the team together, it would be great. I don't think it can happen, but Nathan's just going to have to be patient and allow Tav to keep tearing it up for a wee while longer.
Do you know, for me, and I might be totally wrong, I think Tav could be a replacement for Arfield. But let's get to the comments. For all I have slagged Tav off this season for him having a shit season, which isn't really true, Curry. He has 3 goals and 7 assists, so I am overreacting. Big Shug, no other player, maybe apart from Hadji, can score that volley on Sunday. CGM, statistically against Aberdeen, Tav was our best player, although thought he was poor. Gallant pioneer, Patterson's time will come. Scotty, I thought Tav against Motherwell was just, apart from the mix-up with Goldson, which will always strangely be highlighted more, but apart from that, I thought he was excellent. I thought he was outstanding. Candidate for man of the match.
Yeah, he's been quality, I think. I think what sticks out for me is, as Cammy says, he doesn't hide. I mean, he's been having some, I wouldn't say absolute stinkers, but see when he sets his standards so high, he doesn't set the standard just for himself so high. He sets a standard for the team so high. Mm-hmm. So when he drops off, perhaps the rest of the team drop off as well. And I think that's what we've been seeing. And particularly on Motherwell, it was, and maybe the penalty, against Aberdeen actually gave him the confidence and a bit of a boost, because it would be, even though it's against Aberdeen, it's the last minute, it must be quite a euphoric experience. So he's going to carry that into their next game. And then, yes, I know what happened between him and Goldson to concede that corner. That was just absolutely bloody stupid. But footballers are human and they're prone to this kind of stuff. But he came back. He always wants the ball. Mm-hmm. I've seen so many better players play for Rangers, hide and shirk and mark themselves and never want the ball. And I can highlight some of the players, but that probably won't go down too well because some people are untouchable. But Tav never does that. Tav always looks for the ball. He can put in a shit cross and then he'll get the ball and he'll do it again because he believes in his ability. We know his ability. And all it takes is one to get right. And when he gets it right, fuck me, does he get it right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
outstanding.
Anyone that wants to say that Tav's shy, I challenge them to get 10 footballs, stand on the right-hand side, and then put the ball in the way Tav does.
Yeah.
With the height,
he's taking
the pace.
Scotty is honestly
it's frightening. It's frightening. And stick it where he does. Because Motherwell have got 2 absolutely huge lumps in the centre of that defence. Mm-hmm. And to stick it over one head and then down in between the two, it's just not something I can do. I've been playing football for years.
Phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. Listen, I'm going to come to this in a wee second, right? CGM, Arfield made a huge difference for Tav on Sunday. Listen, we're going to come on and talk about Scott Arfield because I'd written him off. I know quite a few other people had written him off thinking that maybe he's never going to play for Rangers again. He was just honestly sensational. Brian, can we break the conspiracy theories going on out there? I think as soon as Mr. O'Donnell was sent off, I think we heard the conspiracies flying over us. Can you give any defence for O'Donnell? For me, listen, let's just get it out there. Blatant second yellow. Blatant.
Andy Walker even said it in commentary. He says it was
No,
it was a stupid tackle to put in. He gives the referee an option to do it. If you give the referee an option to do it, there's a good, high likely chance you're going to get a second yellow.
And Andy Walker turned around and said he didn't think it was a yellow.
Yeah.
Did he not say he gave him the option?
No. He turned around and said it wasn't a yellow. But that is the biggest buying of a yellow card I've ever seen. O'Donnell wanted off that pitch.
Yeah, he had enough. Sakala, well, everybody had just sent him for hot dogs the whole game, so he just had enough. But I mean, going back to Tav, I mean, as I said earlier, after he scored his goal, he wasn't interested in celebrating or anything. He just told the guys to get the ball and get back up to the halfway line and let's go again. He believed they could get another goal. He drove on,
And 30 seconds later, he'd pinged a world across in and Sakala scored. You know, I mean, that's leadership.
Yeah, for me,
he wasn't hanging around celebrating. He wanted to get another chance to get a goal before half time.
Mm-hmm. See, every time I want to bring a point to Cammy, he freezes. I don't know if maybe I should just want to bring a point to Scotty or Brian, and then Cammy can jump in at some point when he finally makes it back.
Let's all do the
Cammy. Somebody will clip that. Scotty talk. In fact, Cammy's coming back in now. We've got two Cammys on the pitch. Cammy, are you back with us?
What a team that would be, to me, innit?
Cammy, talk to me, please, about Scott Arfield and just how good he really, really is.
I'm sure 2 or 3 weeks ago we had spoke about myself and Big William had basically spoke about Scotty Arfield, how important he was. The Scotty Arfield between September and December last year was one of our top players. He was just everything that Scott Arfield is about on Sunday. You know, he was getting stuck in. He was just always available for a pass. If we can keep Scott Arfield fit, you know, he's a very, very important player. I like him because he offers something different to our other midfield players. I think he always tries to look forward. There's always an opportunity that he's going to make a late run and get a goal for you. He is getting older, but I think he's very clever, very experienced, and I think Tav benefited from having him on his inside on Sunday. I love Scotty Arfield. Not even just the Scotty Arfield. I watched him coming off the pitch at the end of the game, and he's got a great arrogance and a great swagger about him. You know, he's just he and I like that. You know, I like a guy that he knows he's a player. He knows he's a player. He's played at the top level down south. He's came to Rangers, gave us good service for the fact we got him for nothing. So I think Scotty Arfield coming back helps. Ryan Jack is obviously now back in training, but Scott Arfield, Stephen Davis, Joe Aribo, Glenn Kamara, John Lundstrom, that means we don't have to rush Ryan Jack, and there doesn't have to be any pressure put on Ryan Jack to get, you know, I think there's some Rangers fans seem to think after 9 months out he's just going to suddenly train for a couple of weeks and he's going to walk on the pitch. The fact that we've got a really strong midfield allows Ryan Jack to be bedded in over the course of the next couple of months, as long as he continues to get training in every single day. But Scott Arfield's huge for Rangers, and I would see if we could sign a midfield player. It would be like a 27, 28-year-old Scotty Arfield, because he's got everything that I love in a midfield player, and in a personality. Just the type of the guy. I think he'd be brilliant in the dressing room and a great teammate, and he's one of my favourites, Scotty Arfield.
Yeah. I just looked at my phone and had a message from William Cammy. If you don't talk about Arfield, I'm rioting. So
I got the same message. So if you
did you get the same message? Can I also just and Jai makes a very good point here. And every single person at the Rangers rabble wishes to pass on their sincere condolences to Kyogo, who obviously was seriously assaulted on the park.
That must have really hurt him.
Oh man!
Do you know what? It must have. That boy must have hit him so hard at the back of the head that his brain rushed through and hit him in the front of the head. That's why he went down clutching his face.
Yeah.
We've all been there.
Oh man!
I mean, going back to Arfield, Martin, I didn't appreciate that he wasn't. He was obviously suffering from an illness, wasn't he? That they couldn't sort of nail down, and then it took them a long time. It took them a long time to get it under control. But I mean, I didn't appreciate that he wasn't he was pretty unwell.
Right, we can't talk about that, right?
No. Andy Holiday.
That's about as far into it as we shall go, Brian. I'm sorry, we're just in a very good mood tonight, guys. I mean, my hair's not bothering me. Scotty, what does Scott Arfield do then? For somebody like myself, so you're talking to me, right? Somebody with the attention span and memory of a 5-year-old who knows nothing about tactics. What is it Scott Arfield does on the pitch?
He's just very direct in nature. He's got impeccable timing. He doesn't fanny about. He doesn't. I don't know. He's just one of these players that doesn't do stuff unnecessarily. It just seems he likes to do something with the ball. He likes to make important runs. He's defensively disciplined. That's clear. That's why Gerrard absolutely loves him, and he'll trust him in the big games. And he also likes to score goals. We've got a couple of midfielders that are quite scared of scoring goals or getting centrally or getting on the end of crosses. And Arfield will start scoring goals in the next few games. I'm absolutely sure. It's good to have him back because he gives us something completely different. And we need that variety. I think we've really struggled without that. I wasn't necessarily expecting Scott Arfield to play as well as he did because I think he always takes a couple of games in the season to get going, and he hasn't had that at all. So, yeah, really pleased for him. I think he's obviously been doing a lot of work on the training ground. Interestingly enough, I think what game was it? I think the Old Firm game that I came up for. I was sat next to his agent on the flight. Nice guy.
How do people? Everybody in the rabble, apart from me, knows people. I know.
That's because we get out of the house, and when we get out of the house, we look presentable.
That's because you don't run a podcast and you don't do everything that goes on in between. This is what happens when you have a shower, people. Your hair just goes mental. Right, guys, we're 53 minutes in and we haven't even talked about Brondby yet. I kind of feel we should do the preview before we run out of time. Shall we do it? Or shall we just carry on with this absolute ridiculous conversation that we're going on about? What shall we do? It's up to you.
Nothing's been ridiculous so far. I think
making fun of my hair's ridiculous. That's what it is.
Well, you just messed it up even more.
There's nothing I can...
Stop touching it.
So, Thursday night...
Weirdo.
Thursday night, Europa League, Brondby. Scotty, you going?
Aye. Flying out Thursday morning. Very excited. If anyone's got a ticket for me...
Oh, sorry. Curry Muncher. What's Boyd been saying? I completely forgot.
Speak to Arfield's agent, Scotty. You'll get a ticket then.
Let's very quickly touch on this, Brian. I haven't read the article, and I know that Cammy hasn't either, but I know people that have. And this is along the lines of Kris Boyd saying that some players are above their stations, and I'm not 100% sure, so please correct me, anybody, if I'm wrong. I believe he was talking about Connor Goldson.
Yeah, he's basically saying that the grass isn't greener on the other side, pretty much. Mm-hmm. And he's chasing the money.
Which is a bit ironic.
Yeah, he chased the money, didn't he?
Yes.
America, Middlesbrough, you name it. Look, I've always wanted him to stay, but the longer it goes on, as I've said before, I get more and more fearful. We're getting closer to the 1st of January, and he can speak to anybody he wants then. There's not many that have went from us and went to bigger and better things. I mean, obviously you've got your Van Bronckhorst and your guys like that have went on and been amazing, but guys that have been okay for like really good for us and then moved on, there's not very many that have hit the heights and went on to great and better things. So if he goes, fair enough, that's what he wants to do, but don't always think the grass is greener on the other side.
Now, obviously, Cammy, was this? I mean, I know you didn't read it a bit like myself, but you did respond, I think, on social media. Is this just, there's not a lot of news kicking about Kris Boyd just trying to fill some column spaces?
Aye, for me, I think he probably knows that he made mistakes when he left Rangers, and without reading the full context of the article, Kris Boyd made himself a very wealthy man by leaving Rangers and where he went after he left Rangers. So potentially the grass isn't greener because he went to Middlesbrough, he went across to America and what have you.
Portland.
Made a lot of cash for himself and came back. So I think potentially he might be speaking from that point of view. But if he's talking from a financial point of view, then I think it's a bit hypocritical of him, to be honest with you. If Goldson decides to move on, it's his last big contract, and I think 4 years playing in the Scottish League, he might look at it and go, I'm fed up playing against teams 4 times a season. Other people will say, well, he's got the Champions League potentially, but 6 games in the Champions League next season against the potential of signing for maybe a West Brom or somebody like that, and playing with the potential to get promoted to the English Premiership, that might be what he's thinking. Get yourself back home. I don't really know, but it's a bit like what Brian says. I think the longer it goes on, the less likely I think if he was going to have signed an extension, he would have signed the extension by now. But Kris Boyd, filling column inches, that's all it is for me, to be honest.
Yeah, and I'm not even going to go to Scotty because he looks like he's ready to fall asleep. Can I just say I'm getting a bit of abuse here in the old comments. Very, very quickly. Well, Mr. Scott, to be fair, Martin, when I met you at Ibrox, I thought you were an extra from Still Game. Which, and then of course Curry Munter's coming with the wooden leg, and now I'm being called Winston.
That's really disrespectful to Winston. That
you shut up. To be fair, I'm surprised that Mr. Scott could see me because he's about 8'9" and I'm about 5'2". Brondby, gentlemen, Scotty, how important is Brondby?
Every game is important. Just want to win it.
I know, but this is a podcast. So see when somebody asks you that question, you go, I'll tell you what, Martin, this is such an important game for the club.
Stop nagging me, shut up. You sound like someone very familiar. I got what you meant. Don't need an explanation about everything afterwards.
Go for it.
Yeah, really important. Every game's important because win this game, that's that one out the way. Then we move on to which team?
Sparta.
I almost said Spartak there.
Sparta.
No, yeah, Sparta Prague. So, yeah, we've got to win it. It's a must win so we can tee it up for the next one. So that's what we need to do. Really exciting. Really excited. We seem to be hitting some form of form. Don't get me wrong. Brondby going to these grounds, incredibly dangerous and fraught with the potential for defensive errors, concentration lapses, that kind of thing. And you do get punished. Do you know, I actually fancy us to keep another clean sheet and just nick a goal. I think I'll just take 1-0. I'll take 1-0, 80th minute, keep it tight, 80 minutes, like a proper Walter European game, and then get up the road with 3 points and then on to Sunday. But yeah, do you know what? I'm just genuinely excited to see Rangers play. I'm excited to see them play. I'm excited to see what team gets put out, and I'm excited to watch them because I know it'll be entertaining.
Yeah, it will be. 100%. The reason I ask, is that an important game? Listen,
you don't need to explain yourself.
No, there is, because people in the comments are annoying me. And do you know what? I've sat back and been the nice guy for too long. I'm not the nice guy anymore.
Oh, here we go. Do I need to give you a drum roll? Is this where you like do that?
Yeah,
and you become nasty.
This is what I do. Tom Cruise.
Like that scene in Spider-Man 3, where he like pops his collar.
I've not seen Spider-Man. I'm over 12. The reason, that was hard. The reason that I ask is an important game, Brian, is because I've seen a lot of people saying, look, I would forgo Europe for the league this season, which I've never really understood that argument, right? But people say it. But for me personally, even if we weren't to qualify from this group, after a performance like that against Motherwell, do you not? You really, really want to follow that up in the next game? And it doesn't matter what competition it's in.
No, you really want to just push on, put the foot down and keep going. I mean, looking at the league, Sparta's only on 4 points. We're on 3 points. So if the results go like we hope to and Leon run away with the league, if they beat Sparta on Thursday and we beat Brondby, we go 2 points ahead with Sparta coming up at home. In which case, if we can get a result against Sparta at home, then that ties up second place.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the carrot here. Get the win against Brondby, set up a nice winner takes all against Sparta, and that's the carrot for me.
Yeah,
keep going and put the foot down.
And also, I suppose, Cammy, we want to progress in Europe, not just for the money, but to continually get our name back out there as well.
Listen, going beyond Christmas again is that would be another great achievement. I think we have to be cautious in our performance. I don't think we'll go gung ho. I think we'll try to keep it tight at the back. I think we'll have to defend better than we have done in the European, certainly the first two European games. I think if we defend properly, I think Brondby are going to. This is their last chance to really try. They really need to win their last 3 matches to have any chance. The chances of that happening is probably slim. But they're in front of their home crowd. I think it'll be interesting to see how many Brondby fans turn out for the game on Thursday night, if it is still going to be close to capacity stadium, or whether they're putting their have they gave up the ghost with regard to the Europa League and they're concentrate on their league situation. You know, for me, I hope they make 10 changes and it's the weakest possible Brondby team that starts the game, and Rangers go and win by a couple of goals. I think we'll win 2-0 on Thursday night. I'm actually quite confident that we'll catch them on the break a couple of times, and we'll set it up for the game in 3 weeks' time. Which the atmosphere that night will be good if it's set up for that.
Bear in mind, Scotty, Cammy, though, they're 13 points behind Midtjylland in 6th place in the league. So they're not exactly doing great guns in the league.
They're not doing great guns in the league. And Scotty, the game we just played against them, I didn't really see anything from it. Look, like you have mentioned, it's a different proposition away from home in Europe, no matter who you're playing. But I didn't really see much from them that would have me worried going over there.
No, it is a different prospect though, because I probably the same opinion as you. I thought they were pretty toothless in going forward. I think they just seem to want to get the ball and keep the ball for a bit, and then we'll take it back and then we'll attack them, and they just seem content to play that way. It was a really bizarre approach. Now, I think there might be something fundamentally wrong with Brondby after winning the title, and they suffer with almost like a natural slump of expectation. But almost Europe in a way is your escape from that. But I didn't really see much. But then how many times have we seen over the years? I mean, come on, guys, we've played in Europe for how long? We've absolutely scudded a team at home, gone away expecting to get the result, and we get beat. Yeah. I think right off the top of our head, Stone Gratz was one of them. Beat them 5-0 at home, and we lost 2-0 away. And it's like, well, come on, we need to really keep our eye on the ball here. And it doesn't really matter what generation of team it is. We just know it happens in Europe, and it can happen in Europe. So we need to really be on the ball.
Would you guys play the same team from Motherwell?
I mean, he just swoops in, completely rips the next question for right underneath me. You know, that's harsh. That's really, really
I
harsh.
tell you what, he's got impeccable timing, hasn't he? He's so
He does.
quick.
He's just,
It's
he
just
knew I
like,
was going to ask it, and he went, boom, I don't care. He's got dodgy hair.
Aye,
I'm
it's
jumping
because
in there.
you two are sharing notes at the top there, aren't you?
Yeah. Well, that way. Cammy, would you change much for the team that started against Motherwell? Oh.
Do you want to reword it slightly?
No, not for me. I think I think that you don't win 6-1 and then make changes. In my opinion, you know that team's confidence is going to be sky high. I think Sakala will be asked to probably do a bit more defensively. I'm assuming that they're going to try to attack. So I think it'll be a different task for him. You know, he's not going to be on the front foot all the time. I always like Hadji in these games, but I just don't see us changing. I don't think we should change the starting 11.
No, near there. I'm very, very sorry. My phone just went there and I thought it was my better half. But it's not. I will focus now on the podcast. My apologies. Do you go along with that, Brian? Since you asked the question.
100%. The guys are flying. You cannot seriously tell me that any of those guys don't deserve to start this next game. 100% keep the same team.
I agree. Scotty, any chance that Gerrard rotates his goalkeepers again?
Oh, fucking hell. Excuse my language. I hope not. But yeah, there's always a chance. Oh my God. I don't think I successfully predicted one team yet. So, yeah, who knows? I'm excited to see it, though. Have I said that? I've said that. I'm excited to see it.
It's impossible to predict a Gerrard team. And can I just say the comments tonight have been disgusting. I think I've just been compared to every single extra in still game. Somebody's called me Troy the Gardener. I'm the guy whose bunting gets stole. Ridiculous. Honestly, everybody in the comments should be ashamed of themselves. Please do get in your predictions for the game. I'm going to go to the guys for that in a wee second. Just before I do, for all you lovely people watching on YouTube, I've set a wee target of 250 likes for the video. Please do like it if you are watching, if you're enjoying it. It really does help share the pod. And I say it all the time, and I'm going to keep repeating myself. It gets it on suggested videos. The really annoying ones that come up after you finished watching something on YouTube. It gets it on name and on the side and all that nonsense. Please do subscribe as well. That's very, very important. We've just passed 3,000. We really want to get to 4,000 and then 5,000 and then so on and so on and so on. We, of course, have Patreon, links in the description. I'm not going to do any more on that. Twitter at Rangers Rabble. Please do follow us. Instagram, the fantastic Mr. William Scott is running Instagram for us now. We're really trying to build our Instagram up. It's at Rangers_Rabble. So please do go over to Instagram. And Facebook, I'm trying my best on Facebook, but I'm going to be a big man here and admit that I'm absolutely failing miserably with Facebook. I'm contemplating shutting it down. But facebook.com/Jers Rabble. If you want to go over there, and please do like and follow us over there, and I'll try and keep that going. Now, massive. We have a forum on the website, rangersrabble.co.uk. Link is in the description for the website. Please get into the forum and get your points across in there as well. Billy spent hours and hours and hours of his time building that website and building that forum. We'd love to chat back and forth there. You can compare me to any still game character you want, or maybe even start up a forum chat about which still game character do I most resemble. But that's our advertising done, so please do help us out. It really does help us grow. Cammy, prediction for I nearly said Malmo because I've seen Malmo in the comments about 4,000 times. Prediction for Brondby.
2-0 Rangers, as I said
2-0.
earlier. I think we'll do the job and set it up for the Prague game at the end of the month.
Scotty?
I'll just go a little bit different. I'll say 1-0. It's going to be 80th minute off. I'm going to say Goldson. Yeah, shut fucking Fat Boyd up.
Can I just say before I come to you, Brian, True Blue, Martin looks like the sort of guy you'd get to do your homework. See, if you got me to do your homework, by the way, you wouldn't get very far in school. Honest to God. Giant, Martin, we love you, really. No, you don't. You just pretend you do. Gavin Pioneer liked. Thank you so much. Anybody else that's watching, get that like button hit. And by the way, tell your mates and all. Share the podcast. Get them involved. We've went from like 60 people watching to I think our last live one, get like over 3,000 views, which is just mental. So get them watching. Darren Stewart's the only one who's gave me a prediction. I'm disappointed in CGM, but Darren Stewart says 2-0 to the famous. So Brian, JM 3-0. Okay, Brian, prediction.
1-0, 2-0. I'll go 3-0. 3-0.
Bob, it's not a bowl cut. Jesus.
3-0.
Michael Sharon, 1-2. Good fun tonight, lads. Great pod. We are the people onwards and outwards. RFC 56, right mid, right wing for Tav, and play Patterson as a right back. Oh, we don't have time for that conversation. Curry Muncher 1-0, but hoping 4, and Dave Moffat 4-0. Okay, that will do us tonight, guys. Thank you everybody for watching. Brian, Cammy, Scotty, thank you so much. Scotty, did you have your dinner before you came on? Did you get time for dinner?
I'm starving.
You're starving? GGM doesn't give.
Oh, is he back to the comments now?
Oh, and then he's going, we're exiting. Do you want to exit with a bit of the Sakala song? Shall we do that? Do we know it?
That.
Come on. Sharpie 3-1 to the Jers. Thank you everybody for watching. We will see you on Thursday. We, of course, live match reaction. So until then, stay safe and we'll speak to you very, very soon.